Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in on this week's episode. I'm going to talk to you about something I talk about a lot, the importance of focusing on what's important in life. And but really it gets deeper than that. It gets to the fiat enslavement, and it goes hand in hand with what I'm talking about, or with what's going on in my life. But so that experience that I had this week just kind of got the wheels turning for me. Um, and, and I mean, we have the Bitcoin price pumping, so everybody's shitting a brick right now. Oh my God. Act like you've been here before, people. For the love of all that is holy. I mean, seriously, there are times that you go on Bitcoin Twitter and you're like, we must have just hit $1 million a coin, and it's pumped like $1,000. I'm like, oh, guys, come on. But anyways, before we get into all of that, get yourself a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use the promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. And get yourself one. Get your coins off the exchange. And if you have not heard, I shared the article. And I haven't, to be completely honest, haven't been able to delve too far into it to be able to wrap my head around the details of it. But the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet now has enabled Lightning with, I believe, Breeze is the partner that they're doing it with, which is pretty cool, and something that is necessary as we go forward here. So get yourself a Bitbox O2 hardware wallet, and we will all work together to get our coins off the exchange, won't we? And we'll move towards a sovereign world. So yeah, to get into what I wanted to talk, the main topic, there's other thoughts, but first of all, before I get into all that other stuff, the price pumping. Like I said, I go on Twitter and it's like I mean, like people will be like, Bitcoin likes to take the elevator up, or like, and here we go. We like the Joker from the Dark Knight, like, and here we go. And that gift for, I mean, it's just a million different things. You're like, oh my God, like, what did I miss? So it's like one of the rare times I actually check the price, and I'm like, okay, like when from 28 to 29,000, that's all well and good. We all know that the number going up in the long run is a good thing, and we know that it will in the long run regardless. But yeah, I don't know. I think everybody needs to chill a little bit. like I said, act like you've been here before. But yeah. Beyond that, so this, I mean, a couple episodes ago, I gave you guys the update on my mother-in-law, and her poor prognosis. But we're still hoping that things are going in the right direction. That she can find a way to beat this cancer, and which, by the way, I'm looking at right now. Like, my camera is horrific. I only have, most of you, well, I mean, way more, the majority of you guys listen. There's like, I don't know, like 50 to 100 people that watch the YouTube. Watch the YouTube. I put it up on YouTube just because, frankly, I mean, I guess maybe I think all of the videos combined have earned like $4. So I'm really terrible at self promotion. Like I never even tweet the episodes out. That's the craziest part to me. I never tweet them out. So yeah, I was saying this to somebody in the Bitcoin world recently, just like casually talking about it, and I said I should do more. I should do better self promotion. I really should. But I find it really cool that there are people that are just listening without me popping it out there anywhere. So it's like, I mean, the listenership, went down a little bit as the bear market rolled on. Well, actually, as the bear market started, but it's been consistent, for like a year and a half now or something. And I think it's the coolest thing. I love it because I just feel like I'm connecting to you guys, fellow plebs out there in the world, and talking about Bitcoin, but also talking about other stuff because I talk about other stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's like a cool little secret club we have, that you, me, and only a couple thousand people know about. um, I mean, I maybe one day I'll get to the millions and millions of downloads. But that's not why I do this. I do it as a therapy session, but also I do it like I've told you guys before, sharing with you my thoughts on the goings on in Bitcoin, so that we can all like, it's almost like a good like head nod to each other, like, hey, we're still here. It's a bear market, but I ain't giving up. I'm still here. Um, so, anyways, yeah, back to my mother-in-law. So she had to retire earlier than expected, and on Friday, which is part of the reason why this episode is a day late. Um, she They had a retirement party for her at her work, and we went, and so what, I won't get into the specifics of what she does or did, but she was very fortunate that she worked at a job that she loved, um, and she dealt with a lot of volunteers, and those volunteers have you know had a huge impact in her life and vice versa. And I mean, the party was basically a really good opportunity for the volunteers to come, say congratulations on a great career and everything, because she, they all just loved her so much, um, and so, anyways, it was good to see that. Um, but then, just got me thinking. This whole retirement thing, I mentioned it in the episode where I talked about her status update. But like I mentioned, my uncle, years ago, retired in January and passed away in December of the same year. And I don't know. It's just it's kind of a mind f to sit there and think about this fiat world we've gotten trapped in. Because it's like when you're always just getting ahead, and then things are catching up, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not getting ahead. So like inflation right now is really bad, but then there will be relief in some form. I think it'll be a minute before we experience hyperinflation. So, there's relief, for a minute, and then you start having an extra $400-500 a month, to put away in savings, and then we trick ourselves into thinking that I mean, I should get a new car, like I should upgrade my car, right? Like that cycle that everybody's in. Like if you're in a lease, and then you're like, well, yeah, I mean, it keeps the payment low, blah, blah, blah. But, the lease is up. Oh, just roll right into the next lease and roll right into the next one. Or, if you, I don't know, it's just the weirdest thing. We have this mindset, the fiat mindset, where you're like, oh, well, I mean, the car is like old, so you should get rid of it. Meanwhile, my wife's car is, I mean, it's like both our cars, but it's It's our secondary car. You guys, if you listen long enough, know that I've made the mistake before I became a Bitcoiner in 2018. I bought a Land Rover. If I can make audible noises of my forehead hitting the microphone, I'd be. Um, I mean, I like the car. Don't get me wrong. And here's the other thing about it. I say this all the time to people, like, because I feel like, I don't know. I hate. It's like you show up somewhere with it, and you're like, "Well, look at me. Oh, I'm Mister La Di Da," and I'm not. I'm just not trying to be that way at all. If anything, I'd actually prefer to be driving a beater. But I've told this story before, but just to bear with me for a second, is that I got that car on New Year's Eve, and it was I walked in knowing it was the end of the year. It was the end of the month, end of the quarter, and end of the year. And I said to my wife, I was like, well, I'm willing to spend X number of dollars on a car. What I should have done is bought a used car, and then that'd be that, and not have a huge car payment and be done with it. But instead, I was like, oh, I could drop X number of dollars. So we're looking at SUVs, and we look. I mean, regular middle of the road SUVs, those prices, I was like, yeah, I'm willing to spend that. I was like, but there's this Land Rover that's been sitting on the dealership lot all year. I know because I've been keeping an eye on it. Because the little thing that tipped me off is I was pretty sure I saw it was the loaner vehicle. Like those, where they loan it out whenever you're getting your car, oil change or whatever for the day. So it had like a couple miles, like not even 10,000, but it had been driven, but otherwise was brand new. And so I said, I bet you we can walk in there with that exact amount of money and buy that car instead of getting, middle of the road. And she was like, there's no way. I said, well, worst we can do is try. So negotiation tactic for any of you that are out there. As we walked in, I mean, it was way below what they listed. And it was actually like significantly below what they paid for the car. The dealership did. But if you know the car game, the end of the month, end of the quarter, and end of the year, there are massive incentives that line up, and they might be willing to take a hit on something because it gives them a bonus from their partners, from the manufacturers. So I just told my wife, I said, we go in, we're going to say the number, and then not say another word. And just, no matter what he says, just sit there and stare. I was dealing with the manager, and he was just like, the owner's not going to do that. Like, the owner of the Land Rover dealership is just, no, he's not doing it. We just sat there, like, just waited, and he goes, all right, I'm going to go check. And he left and came back and was like, I can't believe it, but he said he's going to do it. And I was like, I can believe it because I prepared for this moment. Anyways, long story short, I'll be getting out of that car payment soon. Can't wait. And I won't be buying a new one because old Cory, pre-Bitcoin Cory, would have been like, well, like, time to upgrade. Like, I was spending that money anyways, so let's just roll it forward. Maybe add an extra $100 on it, and then I have a brand new vehicle that makes me feel really good for a brief period of time, and then that feeling dissipates, and then it's another pain in the ass ball and chain or millstone hanging around my neck that I have to drag around. So, if you're a hardcore Bitcoiner, you're probably get all of this where you're like, yeah, yep, not getting new cars anymore. That's nothing. I mean, I remember Daniel Prince said the one time, I think on this podcast, he said he's got an 18-year-old vehicle that purrs like a kitten, but still runs. But so anyways, my wife's car, like our secondary car, 13 years old. Like 140,000 miles on it, and we're gonna keep that thing running as long as possible. It's still in good shape. Like we don't need to replace it. So yeah, that's how I plan on doing with cars going forward. I bring that up because you should get a BitBox02 hardware wallet from bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin made simple. Use promo code Bitcoin made simple to get 5% off. I bring that up because I feel like we should be retiring earlier. That was the thought I had at my mother-in-law's retirement party. And like I said, there's two prongs here, because she was very lucky because she liked the job she was at. It was a fulfilling job. It made her happy. But most people aren't that lucky. And so what we should be doing is actively working towards reducing our overhead, getting ahead of things so that we can be done sooner, or be working less in the meantime so that we can enjoy life more. So you're probably sitting there saying, Cory, yeah, make it sound so simple, but it's really not. True. Believe me, I know. I'm an entrepreneur that's sitting here sweating bullets, stretching every penny I have out. But I'm like constantly on the look for like ways I can reduce our overhead, bring it down a notch. You guys know, if you've listened long enough, that almost 2 years ago I moved into a much better house, much better situation, out of the city, all that jazz. But it caused it was a bigger mortgage payment. And this is partially me rationalizing it, but also realistically rationalizing it. Our kids were not going to be going to city public schools. So we knew the cost was going to be for, we knew that we were going to be saving on paying for private school. We were already paying for one tuition. At this point, we'd be paying for, multiple, and who knows from there. And the price, the tuition is just going to be going up from here. Whereas we were locking something in. So actually, at this point, our like break even, maybe even a little bit on the better side, because mortgage payment with no private school is actually a better situation. So that's what I mean when I say actively looking for. But same with the car. Like that car, as soon as the one's paid off, I'm not picking up another car payment unless one of them explodes and is incapable of being driven anymore. In that scenario, if the engine dies and I can't get it up, well, that's what she said, or he said. If I can't get it going in that scenario, see how much a replacement would be for the engine, see if I can get it running again at a low cost, and if it can't, then I buy a used car with cash so that I don't have a car payment. And then I keep myself in that position. Keep the cost low. That's the way through this thing. Like in my mind, we should all be targeting to retire a lot earlier. Or like my neighbor has a great view on it. He's like, right now, he's got young kids. He's like, I work enough to provide for what we need, but I don't overwork myself. He could take a bunch of overtime if he wanted. He's like, I don't overwork myself because I don't want to miss out on the time with the kids right now. He's like, when they're grown and on their own, then sure, I'll go and, do, I'll work as much as I can. He's like, maybe, I'll be in a position where I won't have to, but, I'd rather, if I'm going to have to work, rather do it then than now. And I think that's just, I admire him for that. That's a really, really good mindset. And so I think it's one that we should all adopt, is focusing on the here and now. Life experiences are so much more valuable than all this other bullshit. The career stuff. Give me a break. Like, I can't, like, I just can't. I can't understand how a career is so important. Like, my career, I'm putting having a family on hold for my career. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that career is not going to be able to hug you or, bring you anything other than just on it. No, I'm not saying don't be ambitious. I'm just saying. So don't jump down my throat if it feels like I'm attacking your way of life. But, it also, if you're just making ends meet right now and you hate your job, you should, if you aren't already, should be actively searching for a way out. Actively searching for a way to get yourself out and make more money somewhere else, doing something that you like. So work towards that. Because if you can't work less and you need to do all the work, then it'd be best if you are like my mother-in-law in the scenario where she was at a job that she loved, and she wouldn't take any of the time back. And if anything, she probably wishes she had more time, a little bit more time there, because she liked it that much. And so, if you're sitting there on the fence and you're like, yeah, this other job over here, it would be equal pay or maybe a little bit of a haircut, but we'd still have enough money to, put money away in savings. But that job would be more fulfilling, then go do it. Because if you're doing something that's fulfilling, then it warms the heart. And that was me, going from working on movies. My brief stint in the corporate, like, media world, that was brief, and it was enough that, like, I didn't reach, like, point where I was like, I'm done with this, but I was ready to start my own thing. But prior to that, I've told the story on other podcasts before, but I won't go into the super long version of my history as a production assistant and working in the assistant director's departments on all these big movies and everything, but, like, I think the last one I worked as a production assistant on was Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. The last offer I had was a full-time job in the assistant director's department on the Avengers. And I was just like, no, like, I hate this. It is soul crushing. I hate it. Do I know what's next? Nope. Will I figure it out? I hope so. And I did. If I didn't do that, like, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know. So, that's my little lesson on this is don't do soul crushing work. I can expand on that more, but I mean, seriously, it was just, it when you're in that situation, and I was in that situation, and it sucked because I initially enjoyed the vanity of like, oh, look at me, I'm working on all these movies, I am so famous. Um, and then yeah, it all it all seemed to I realized that it sucked, and I hated the job, and I was done with it. So, anyways, no, that's it, get yourself into a job and a career that you love and is rewarding, and then you won't regret it. And get yourself a BitBox O2 hardware wallet, and I will talk to you guys later.